Grace and peace, everybody. We are back. You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title. You know what time it is. It's the Candace Owens watch party. Let's get at it, people. All right, so she's already started, and it is looking like it looks like it's gonna be the clown show that we anticipate. So it's a clown show that we deserve, y'all. I mean, we've been hanging in here, we've been dedicated to this thing. And so therefore, I think we deserve this type of clown show. Thank y'all to everybody who's already jumped into the best live chat on the internet. I apologize. I'm running a little bit haggard because I had a monitor go out here in the studio. Whitaker Park needs an upgrade. We're going to take care of that real soon. So I had a monitor go out, so I don't have my two screens. So I'm not going to do bingo today because I can't. It's hard to do it with one screen only. So anyway, I'm going to bring this in and get ready to traumatize ourselves with something that Candace is talking about in the comic book world. I don't know what this poor woman talking about. Bless her little heart. She don't make any sense at all. Anyway, everybody, thank y'all so much for jumping in. Make sure you hit the like button. Let's get at it. Let's get active. Here we go, children, with no further ado. This is live, so the audio is still low. I haven't figured that part out yet either. Let's go. All right. I'm about 10 minutes behind. Maybe not a full.
All right, you guys, we have a lot to unpack today. So I, for weeks, was working on a pretty strong tip, something that happened online, which I would say is third-party information. A person stationed at Fort Huachuca who claimed publicly that they had seen Erica at Fort Huachuca. They were certain of it. And then they sort of got chased offline and they deleted it. Anyways, I was able to follow that lead and I have some more information there. I can tell you Erica disputes that narrative. But in addition to that, I can assert that I feel completely comfortable that saying or stating clearly that Erica is definitively aware and familiar with the Fort Huachuca base, intel base, because once upon a time, she shot a teaser for a short film there or around there. And the general topic of the film is not going to go a long way in terms of dispelling conspiracies. Also, later on in the show, I want to discuss Nick Fuentes because, man, oh man, I was kind of fine with everything he's been doing. I've always maintained that he's not for me. His content's not for me. I also have maintained that he's clearly a federal informant, but who cares if people want to follow him? Well, now he's caught my attention because, frankly, he's trying to soft sell pedophilia. That's what he's doing.
Wow.
And I just don't know how to ask for us not to do this as a society. Can we not? Can we just not? Why can we, as a society, not agree to just that one simple term? Welcome back to Candace.
That's some wild work right there. That is a serious claim. And I'm not even a Nick Fuentes fan, but my goodness, in the morning, man, this woman going to claim, bless her heart, is she going to leave the looking glass away? Where's the looking glass?
Guys, Fort Huachuca, the response, the public response,
Fort
it was
Huachuca's
way too
back.
over the top. We don't really need to unpack everything that transpired, but suffice it to say, it was pretty clear they were panicking.
Oh, of course they were
bringing
panicking.
out Mitch's baby mama drama, sons, everything to say this never happened, and we're going, what's going on here? Why are you guys so freaked out about this base? Clearly, something happened here, and we learn more. That's an intel base. We learn more about.
Again, I just want to say again, look at the way she uses her face to kind of steer your emotions and how you're going to think and how you're going to feel about what she's saying. She's making these faces that they want you to believe something. She wants you to think this way about this. And you'll see how she does it. You know, she does it like a master. I ain't gonna even lie. You gotta give her hats off for that.
How they were teaching courses to their agents on how to pretend that they're Christians and to be inserted within Christian organizations. That got weird. That's definitely weird, right?
Where did that come from?
And then came obviously the PR blunder. When people say too much almost in trying to debunk something, when they pretend like they don't even understand English words. Fort? Can you put it in a sentence? What's a fort? Gosh, these people are so insane. Erica wasn't at some fort. Okay, Andrew Colbeck.
It's funny because, again, Frank Turek has proven that Erica was at home during this time because, of course, Charlie was there with their children. And she's not going to address that. She's still going to run after some ancillary person that was on Twitter or TikTok putting out something like that. She's not going to address what Frank Turek said and debunk that. But again, what evidence is she going to give you that's going to sway or move the Richter scale in any way, shape, or form? That's the question that we should ask before we end this show. Let's go.
A little too much. Like I said, he's got a lead foot. Vroom, too quickly. 0 to 100, too fast. If I was their PR agent, and to be clear, I do think Turning Point USA should put me on a monthly consulting retainer. I can help. If it was me, I'd have been like, oh, Fort Huachuca. Yeah, we all know Fort Huachuca. Yeah. Yeah.
Girl, shut up. Just shut up. Nobody wants you to be around at all, retainer or otherwise. Nobody, they really want you to be away. They need a restrainer order. That's what they need, not a retainer. They want to restrain you. You are insane. This woman is insufferable. Shout out to being insufferable. Let's go. Let's go.
Erica lives nearby. Actually, I think maybe her mom worked there. I don't know. Let me call her and see. She might have been there. I have no idea. I'll see. I'll get back to you. I would have played it cool.
But nobody cares.
No.
Nobody cares what you think.
Like, here's a picture of her with her babies on the wrong date. She wasn't building a pillow fort. No. She was eating burgers. I like Chipotle. What, Andrew? What are you saying? Why do you seem nervous? That was, people with common sense. That's how I think we all felt. And I am going to tell you a lot.
You're going to tell us a lie.
I can, like I said, assert she definitely has heard of Fort Huachuca. So
I don't think anybody's arguing that they didn't hear about Fort Huachuca. The problem is you're pulling at a thread that's not even in the same blanket. You're pulling at a thread that's not even in the same. We don't even know where this is going. What do you want Erica to be there to do? What is it that you're trying to do? You already know Brian Harpo wasn't there, nor was Cabot Phillips. We know that Mitch was there sometime. And if Erica was or wasn't there, what are you trying to get? See, this is the thing. And you and Candace, please understand, all your credibility went down the hopper yesterday with the whole multiverse of madness. Okay? Let's please stop.
Some people that were based at Fort Huachuca back in 2010, around 2010, maybe 2011, reached out to me to inform me that they knew Erica and that Erica definitely.
2010? That's 15. Wait, is that 15 years ago? Lord have mercy.
He knows the base because a bunch of people from the base were affiliated and had worked with her from about 2010 until around 2013 on a mini film that never saw the light of day.
I'm going to go on a lie. Hold on. Erica is, let's just say she's 33 years old. I don't know how old Erica is. Somebody in the chat, let me know how old Erica is. Let's just say she's 33. If you subtract 15 years, how old are we talking about? We're talking about a teenager. What in the merciful name are you talking about? This poor woman, she's 36. Okay, so that would make her 21. 21-ish? Am I right? Yeah, math is hard. 21. Okay, I need to see this video because I'm going to go on a limb. Is Candace going to show us the actual video? Is she going to show us the legit video, or is she just going to tell us about a video, which I think is very interesting? Same thing she did with the video of the camera behind Charlie Kirk when he got shot. She's always interpolating it for us, but not actually allowing us to see it. Just something I noticed. Let's get back to it, Jason. Let's go.
As evidence of this, because I was thinking, am I being trolled here? And then no, I wasn't being trolled. As evidence of this, they actually provided me with movie posters, which were professionally shot, and the movie, which was entitled.
Y'all, stretch your hands toward Candace. There is an absolute no way possible this woman fell for this. I'm sorry, because Grok or one of these AIs is going to have a field day with that. So this is supposed to be her when she was 21 years old? Okay. All right. I mean, I mean, we gotta pray for Candace. We gotta stretch our hands toward Candace and ask God to open up her mind. This woman is insane. What do you want? Like, what? That looks like Erica today, right? That does not look like Erica, 21-year-old. Y'all have mercy. This woman is insufferable. But what is it that you actually want? What is it that you're trying to accomplish? If you're not saying that she deleted her husband, what do you want? Lord have mercy. This is ridiculous.
November Renaissance. Okay. Sure. We obviously we know that she did some acting or reality TV. I don't know how we would phrase it. We know that she was pursuing the stage. Obviously, she was involved in pageants. And yeah, we're checking out this movie poster before I tell you what it's all about, what the movie itself is about, just by way of association. Virtually,
how do you know what the
everyone
movie's
involved
about
in this movie, the actors, the stunt doublemen, they are involved with Fort Huachuca. Okay, involved with the military at the very least. The person they said she was really close to was Clayton Haugen. I hope I'm saying that last name right. Haugn. Maybe it's just Hogan. And he does marketing for the defense contracting firm Dillon Aerospace. There's Don Fry. You might just think of him as a fighter, but he actually graduated from high school in Sierra Vista and then trained in judo at Fort Huachuca. There is Peyton McCormick. Her grandfather is Colonel Pete McCormick. Her father is Lieutenant Colonel Alan McCormick, once stationed at Fort Huachuca.
I feel sorry for Candace. I really feel sorry for Candace. Okay, so real quick, I had found the movie. I looked it up real quick. I found the movie. It was on Kickstarter. It was in November Renaissance, blah, blah, blah. Let's see what it's about. Let's see. We can watch it. Wait, we can watch the film? Oh, you can't watch the film? I want to know when this was posted. All right, so this was updated on February 20th, 2017. So I guess that is her. Can we play do they have like a trailer?
Hi, my name is Eric Schroeder, and I play Jackson Hall.
And my name is Priscilla Onwall, and I play Zane Allura.
And we're here to show you why you should care about November Renaissance,
which is a feature being streamlined into a short film based off original concept and character.
So go ahead and sit back and relax and enjoy the show.
Is that the Looking Glass? Corporate espionage, a form of espionage conducted for commercial purpose. You know what? Because they're using weapons, I'm going to go ahead and drop the link to this in the chat. I don't want to have the same problem we had last time because they might not have sanitized these. So let me drop this in the chat. If you want to check it out. Okay. All right. So what? Like, what is this? What is it that you're trying to accomplish, Candace? I think that is the big question. So what? Okay, fine. She was in a movie. I mean, Candace was in a rap video, right? I mean, what is this supposed to accomplish? Apparently, Erica's in the movie. So, yeah. So this is very telling. So let's bring back Candace. Let's go back to Candace. Finish her up, man. We're not gonna be all night. I promise you. I promise you. All right. She is. She knows she ain't got to talk about nothing. Let's go.
In USA in 2006, Priscilla Newell. And again, we can pull up that poster, Skylar, so they can just see we're going through the names here as well. Her father was a lieutenant stationed at Fort Huachuca. There's also Chantel Thuy. I didn't have too much time to go through that person's background. I bet I could find a clear connection to Fort Huachuca since that's the theme. But we can tell you that her dad worked in artificial intelligence for IBM. So I'm thinking maybe he had something to do with Fort Huachuca. And then that Price Mitchum, that just gets dark. I mean, that young man or older man got put in a psych 5150 hold, and
That's where you
I
need to
mean,
be.
I don't know where that direction heads to. Long family of actors. I've got to prod that narrative a bit more. The point is that they told me there's absolutely no way that she's not familiar with Fort Huachuca. I don't know why that was said by Andrew Colbert. She most definitively was, just by nature, like I said, of what her mom did, and also this poster proves it. Okay, that narrative is officially over. This whole, oh, this is crazy, what are we talking? Okay, that's just done. We can end that. Okay. Erica in this film was set to play a character named Evelyn Mathis. We know this because we found the remnant of a Kickstarter that was
Right.
still available to the public. Now, I wish I had given to this when it was first put up back in 2012, 2013, because I would then be able to open all of these posters and learn more about that particular character. But I can
But
tell you
why
definitively that this
though?
was a movie about corporate espionage, assassins, and technology, nanotech, all used to help the government.
But where is the looking through the looking glass to see the future? That's what we're here for, Candace. We want to look into the future. What are we doing? What in the merciful name of God are you doing, Candace? You're wasting our time. We need to know, how do we go ahead and manipulate the future? That's what we want.
And corporate financial institutions maintain power. I am not kidding. I'm going to read you the description here before showing you a video. It says, in the world of tomorrow, the mind has become a hard drive linked to the internet. And once the present divide between technology and humanity has become next to non existent, driving this world forward are the many emerging multinational corporations that have grown in power far beyond the control of world governments. In this reality, financial institutions vie for dominance through corporate black ops. These clandestine endeavors are carried out by figures known as proxies, cloak and dagger assets that are hired in secret to remove rivals from power or to protect corporate capital from harm. Okay, and it tells us about
What does that have to
the
do with
elites, the
anything that we're
proxies,
talking
and I'm going to let you
about?
just actually take.
Okay, I'm being so for real. I'm not just trying to be obtuse. But what is this talk? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Candace? What does this have to do with anything? For real. I'm not even trying to be funny. What does this have to do with anything? Fine. She was in a movie. It's not like she was in an adult movie. It doesn't like she was doing anything bad. She was in a movie. Like what this I think this numbskull literally believes that because the movie was about something, that means it was played out in life. I really think that that's what she's trying to do. That's some crazy work, y'all. This poor woman. Imagine being this doggone dumb. I mean, she does make it look like anybody, you could just do anything. Like, imagine being this doggone obtuse. After yesterday talking about looking into the future and manipulating the future and outcomes and events, and now you over here talking about this. Like, this woman that went from a multiverse of madness to Minority Report. What is wrong with you, Candace? Oh my gosh. Y'all, shout out to the best live chat on the internet. Y'all, I really am undone. I don't even know what to say about this. What does this have to do with anything?
Listen to the director Clayton himself describe a bit about what this was intended to be about. I say intended because when you start reading the comments in the Kickstarter campaign, you realize they never delivered. They promised to deliver it in 2013. That didn't happen. Here is the director, Clayton Hogan, speaking about this movie.
You guys just saw there was a visual pitch to really give you a feel for the atmosphere, but as far as concept goes, we really developed it around a number of questions that we were asking ourselves. Now, these questions range from anything from how can we manipulate someone's senses enough so that they believe a false reality when in reality something else is going on entirely? Or even how can someone like the class geek pirate and steal, say, the varsity quarterback's, knowledge and skill set? Or even more so, how can the knowledge and skill set of a Navy SEAL be copied and transferred to somebody else? And this concept became possible when we really pushed the boundary on what's called nanotechnology. And that's tiny little microscopic machines that carry out their function on an atomic level. Now, with nanotechnology, we were able to create this plausible and believable mind-bending and reality-bending concept that is grounded in developing physics theories out there and developing science. So really the question you should ask yourself is, what happens in a world where the brain is a hard drive, your eyes become video cameras, and knowledge is not learned so much it is just programs that are installed onto you?
Yeah, so that's not going to help matters any in the world of us conspiracy theorists who kind of
It also doesn't help with your argument that somehow or another Charlie's wife is involved in the deletion of Charlie Kirk. That doesn't help either. There's a lot of doesn't help with that, and that's just one of them as well. Candace, what are we doing? What are you really doing, Candace? Are you okay? Are you okay? Good gracious.
think that that's what's happening. Wasn't I just saying a couple of weeks ago that I feel like there are people that are walking around at the like computer programs, and it's pretty obvious that they're just stealing companies, stealing land.
You did. And you also said that there were Mormon bees. You did also say that there were tunnels. You did say that there were Egyptian planes. You did say a whole bunch of things that you haven't come forward on anything else. So you've shown us a defunct Kickstarter. And that's why we should believe that Charlie Kirk's widow is involved in the deletion of Charlie Kirk, because there's a defunct Kickstarter. That movie went straight to DVD, straight to the $5 bin. Okay, got it. Makes sense.
Infiltrating, doing these sorts of things. That these people are not even successful. They're just thieves. They're glorified thieves with access to the military. Again, to be clear, this project was never released despite posting updates up to 2017. But I want to show you that to just confirm that our suspicions were correct. And that is now beyond ridiculous to suggest in any manner or form that Mitch's testimony that he plausibly saw Erica at Fort Huachuca is deranged, crazy, or figment of a madman's imagination. Again,
why don't you address the issues that people had with Mitch not bringing in new false narratives? Because nobody asked you about a failed Kickstarter. We want to know, was Mitch a reliable witness? Because let's flip it around on the other side. If Erica's witness or rationale for not being at Fort Huachuca was Mitch, y'all would have a problem with it. You would have a problem with it, Candace. You would not take it if we were saying, well, let's use Mitch. Mitch knows that she wasn't there. Well, then you'd have a problem with it. So therefore, Mitch is the problem. And therefore, that's it. So just because she was in a failed Kickstarter or failed movie, please forgive me, that doesn't mean she was at Fort Huachuca. That doesn't mean anything. This shouldn't be this difficult.
These people who gave this to us were our friends with Erica. They know her. They say she knows about this space.
How do they know?
Let's just shut that down.
How do you know that they know her? What is your evidence that they know her? I know Erica. Everybody here on the best live chat on the internet knows Erica. Now, prove us wrong. I mean, what is your evidence?
Or I'd like to add here, a lot of you emailed and told us about a correspondence that had taken place online, a chat where a person shortly after Charlie's assassination, before there were any conspiracies in the air, said, oh, I saw Erica at Fort Huachuca. This was a woman, by the way, who wrote this. And then a bunch of people started yelling at her because she said that she had seen Erica the day before, which would have been September 9th, by the way, not the 8th. And she subsequently deleted the message. And there was no reason for her to have done that other than she thought, okay, maybe I was wrong. The whole internet is so mad at me for saying this. This person has absolutely nothing to do with Mitch Snow. So somebody else had published online that they could confirm
somebody else
that was real.
Give us the proof. Go back in the Wayback Machine and find the tweet. Give us the proof. Don't just say somebody, again, some random person typed something, they delete it. Somebody else can confirm that they saw what the random person typed, but then delete it. Give us the evidence, Candace. This should not be this difficult. This got to be a game.
They were friends with that person. So to make that clear too, so you understand
your
the chain
friend.
of custody of this information, the person who posted it is currently stationed at Fort Huachuca.
Oh my gosh.
And deleted it. The internet caught that, or somebody on the internet caught that.
Let's get the proof.
And then a second person who was friends with that individual, who was formerly stationed as well at Fort Huachuca said, yeah, that post actually happened, and there's more. I guess there are chats amongst.
Who are these people? At some point, Candace, you got to realize that these folk, you got to ask for evidence, because you do realize hearsay, as somebody just said right there, hearsay doesn't work. That person's going to have to come up and fess up. Otherwise, that evidence is not going to be useful. And a lot of this evidence, if I'm not a law enforcement expert at all, and y'all know I'm a pre-K law student, but a lot of this evidence, alleged evidence that you have, has been secured in a bad way. A lot of this evidence will probably get thrown out. I hate to say it. A lot of stuff that Candace has will get thrown out. A lot of those text messages, they're going to get jettisoned. If they were ever brought to court, they'd get thrown out. A lot of these conversations, recording somebody without their knowledge, that's going to probably get thrown out. There's no way to verify it. So what is she doing actually? What is she actually doing? That's the question that we need to ask.
Military personnel that are stationed there, and one of them asserted in this chat that they too had seen Erica at Fort Huachuca, and that there was an order to lower drones on that day. So that brings us up to a total of 3 people, and the due diligence that I have done is that I have confirmed.
Who trusts Candace's due diligence? What is more trustworthy than Candace's due diligence? Put it in the chat, please.
That third-party person who used to be stationed there, who knows the 2 individuals involved, okay, has a relationship with them today, is friends with them. So again, it's important to always say what the chain of custody is in case there is a mistake. But I did my due diligence to confirm that those people are real, and that those people are in fact stationed at Fort Huachuca, and that they made these statements not because they were being fed by the public one way or the other.
Did they make the statements before Mitch Snow came out? And where are the statements? How can we see them? How can we know that they did in fact do it? Because maybe we'd have a different conversation. If you showed us the evidence and say, hey, here's the comments made on September 9th from Sally Jane and Jim Bob, here's the tweets, and we can see it, and the metadata, of course, and we can see it like, okay, well, there's something there. Maybe there's something there. But even in that, what do you want? What is it that you're trying to get from it? But again, she's giving you no evidence. She's just telling you this.
But because they believed that they had seen her, okay? That puts a little more weight to the claim. Now,
but it doesn't, though.
To be clear, I will say that once again, earlier this week, and I had to do homeschooling longer, so I have not been able to reply.
Sure you have.
Through
sure you have.
One of the Turning Point executives, Erica, did send a video that I had been asking for regarding the Fort Huachuca alibi, but it wasn't, I don't think they're comprehending what I'm asking for, so it wasn't what I was asking.
Please, Erica, Turning Point USA, stop engaging this insane woman. At some point, we're going to have to stop being sympathetic to Turning Point. Like, if they send her a video and she still wants more, that's on Turning Point now. That's on you, that you're still sending this woman information and she's sitting here saying that you're the one that deleted your husband. That's your fault now. That's your fault. If you're now, again, we don't know that anybody really did. Candace could be whole cloth making this story up. But if they did, that's on them now. This is ridiculous. Stop engaging this woman. Block her number. Ignore her. Good gracious. If they did, man, look, you get what you get.
And I need to now follow up with them, which I intend to do tomorrow when we have a day off. I think it's perhaps, to be fair, because we're going through a third person, maybe it's not clear what I'm asking for. So I'm going to send a video example of what I'm asking for.
Why are people
and
engaging
hopefully I will
you?
have an update there. But it's getting interesting is what I would say. It's getting very interesting. And the panic of Andrew Colvett, to me, it feels like there could be something there. Want to add something?
What is the panic? What is the panic that she's referring to? I'm sorry. Let's just leave it alone. This is
you might find
dumb.
Compelling.
No, I don't find
I
compelling.
told you that there are certain themes that continue to rise throughout this investigation. We put together a chart to reflect that for you.
But no chart with them flight data, though.
Does it mean that a person on this chart is guilty? But it's just interesting that they are recurring themes. This is an organization that's supposed to be for
Oh my
markets and
gosh.
capitalism. We are finding this Liberty University strand, the Eastern Europe strand, the trafficking and sex abuse strand, meaning either allegations, George Zinn on that day, decoy boy, Turning Point Faith, working with this pastor Greg Laurie.
Where is your evidence about the Egyptian planes? Where is it? Just because you put names and dates and businesses on a spreadsheet, that is not evidence. That's not. I'm going to go again. A lot of what Candace postures and puts out there would be thrown out in a court of law. Nobody would run with this stuff. What's wrong with her? That's a question you need to ask. What is wrong with you that you think this makes sense, Candace?
Whose church is being accused of trafficking children from Romania. One of the pastors, Paul Havsgaard, they're saying that the church helped to facilitate that. Again, this is making its way through its courts. So this is all allegedly. We had Rob McCoy trying to rehabilitate a person who had abused children in the past. We talked about Tim Ballard, Operation Underground, how Phil Lyman went to see him the next day. Glenn Beck had funded that Operation Underground, which for Tim Ballard ended in scandal without question, and people alleging that that charity was not doing what he set out to do. So that's interesting. And then we talked about Paul Vallely, that retired Army general. By the way, I think on that episode I said he was on the board. I meant to say he's on the advisory board. There is a difference, an important difference. So I do want to correct that. We got this retired Army general who actually ran psychological operations and happened to co-write a book with this guy who was a avowed Satanist and started his own kind of Church of Satan called the Temple of Set. But he was also accused, credibly, according to the police, even though he was ultimately found not guilty due to not enough evidence. They didn't bring charges against him because they felt they didn't have enough evidence.
It's funny that she would bring up somebody having a case thrown out because of not enough evidence, and she herself makes up evidence out of whole cloth. That science is going to have to study this. I'm going to have to need science. I need science to step in and help us with this because this is ridiculous. This woman is insane. Shout out to April from Unshakable with April Chapman, a great sister and friend of the channel. If the mods could please make sure we drop her link in the chat. Y'all can go check out what she's been doing some great work over there. Thank you so much for stopping through, friend. Grace and peace to you. All right, let's keep this going. Y'all pray for Candace.
Harming a child at the Army and Army Child Development Center, which already makes me uncomfortable that there is an Army Child Development Center. We'll talk about more of that when we get into the GATE program and some of the things that you guys told me, which was absolutely fascinating. Anyway, another thing that we've added here since is what I found to be interesting is that Erica lived in China and worked with child sex trafficking victims. Now, that is, if Erica is to be believed in her own words, she...
Real quick, can you imagine taking everything that somebody does, whether it be every good deed that they do, and putting a veneer of a specter of, if you can believe it, to it? Now the woman can't even volunteer and help out those who've been affected by S trafficking because this lunatic is going to cause people to start going after her. I pray that this woman has I pray she has no more sleep, man. This is totally out of pocket. And remember, everybody, Candace professes to be a Christian, which I think we all can equally agree that is not true. That's cap, as the kids would say. It's cap. Yeah, I can't. Let's finish up.
Said that on a podcast in the past. I want you to listen to that podcast. Take a listen.
I decided to create something called Everyday Heroes Like You, where we're able to, originally, it was focused on bringing funds and awareness to various grassroots organizations that were in specific communities that would be able to have volunteers that are transparent with their funds, that are actually doing what they're saying they're doing, instead of just having 70% of the funds go to admin and only 30% towards the cause. It kind of grew into something more global. I was living in China and doing a lot of work with the victims from sex trafficking, and then began to phase that into working with the Marine Corps and the Army, and then was able to work with a orphanage in Romania to help sustain them during their winter seasons and giving them more clothing items or tangible items rather than just money.
So you heard her very clearly.
Did y'all hear what have you been watching this week? And really just this week alone, you realize in that little snippet right there what Candace has been trying to do. Candace has been trying to say that the Marines and the Army have been running brothels. They've been running trafficking and abuse because they can get away with it on base. They've been in Asia. Remember everything she said about the Korean War as well as Vietnam. Now they're in China and such of that nature. She's trying, and of course now Romania. She is trying to tie this thread together, weave this tapestry of Erica Kurt being involved in some type of trafficking of children, harming of children, something of that nature. That's what she's trying to do. And I'm sorry, man. If y'all rock with Candace, y'all going to go ahead and keep it. Y'all just going to do your thing. This woman is evil. This woman is evil.
It's not my imagination. She says, I was living in China and doing a lot of work with child sex trafficking victims. And that caught obviously my attention because somebody dug that up on the internet and I was working on this chart of like, okay, there's a lot here to unpack. And so I instantly reached out to somebody at Turning Point USA who has been a straight shooter. Actually, I think the only person that has been willing to answer questions to get to the bottom of things. Like
Why
I
are
said,
people
Justin
so-
Strife, and I said, when was she living in China?
Anybody that works at TPUSA that talks to Candace, you got a pink slip in the morning. Get you to step in. Get out of here. Why are people still talking to this lunatic? Go find another job somewhere else. Ask Candace for a job. Since she's so involved in worrying about people's business, let her hire you. Why are you again? I'm almost to the point where I don't feel sorry for y'all anymore. The fact that you keep engaging with this woman, that's problematic. That's your fault.
I don't have when was that actually? And he replied that she never lived in China. And that she said, I'm sure he took that right to her, that she never lived in China, that she only went there on a trip for a couple of weeks to see the Great Wall of China. So I don't know what to believe Erica now or Erica then, but that's Erica versus Erica. That's a discrepancy. The point is that the column of...
Okay, I'm gonna just be petty. I'm just gonna be petty. Can you prove to me that was Erica on that podcast? I have no idea that was Erica. I don't know if that was Erica. Who was that? That was Sally Joe. That was Mary Ann. I don't know who that was. Candace needs to start showing and proving. Just because you play a clip and somebody and you say that was Erica, we don't know that. We have no idea who that was. You prove it.
Child sex trafficking and
I
orphans
told you.
is about to grow a little bit more. So many people were speculating as to, and Baron Coleman did a lot of work on this, talking about the planes. And
where's the
they
planes?
said it appears now that Charlie's plane, or it was Charlie's plane, and now appears to be Erica's plane, is frequently visiting New Braunfels, Texas, and also a place up in Idaho.
This woman is. Why don't you show us your raw plane data still? That's what we want to see. I cannot. I'm sorry. I just can't.
Plane action there. What's going on? Some of it conspiracy. Obviously, people just investigating and trying to figure out if there's something there. And I can tell you, the answer is that she's visiting the #1 donors to Turning Point USA. And shout out to the mommy sleuth who did the work. The way they figured that out, I'm telling you, these mommy sleuths hit different. They just hit different. I mean, I was just reading this. I was like, goodness, you were in the trenches here. That could be, obviously, they loaned the plane after Charlie's assassination and said you can have the plane. Who knows? That part isn't too relevant.
No, it's very relevant because I don't think Turning Point owns that plane. They charter the plane. That's like it's a plane Uber, for lack of a really better example. They don't own a plane and you just give it to somebody. That's retarded, Candace. You don't know anything and you're just speculating and throwing stuff out there like that. Man, please let them be able to sue her.
Because I guess at this level, friends don't let friends fly public. Okay, sure. What is actually interesting, though, which I wanted to bring to your
How do you even know this stuff? That's the point. Like, again, if you rock with Candace, you got to start asking better questions. The onus is on y'all. The onus is not on us. Those people who've left the candy cult, those people who don't believe in Candace, we're not, the responsibility is not on us to argue this case. You have to prove that what she's saying is actually true. Not that we have to prove that it's untrue. We're saying that it's not true from the word go. Prove it. Prove that all this stuff that they found, the mommy sleuths hit differently. Prove it. Prove it. Y'all, y'all are retarded. If you follow Candace, man, go on somewhere with y'all dumb selves. I'm sorry, this is just ridiculous. The fact that she's spinning this yarn and you all are just keep rocking with her. Y'all, you need help. Y'all need Jesus for sure.
Just give me just a second here. What's interesting is that, and by the way, I do want to add here that Erica is the chairman and CEO of Turning Point. So going to see your biggest donor wouldn't exactly be a scandal. But there is something else that's interesting, and to bring up to speed that those donors, it was widely reported at the beginning of this year, so we're not really.
Who are these donors?
At the Turning Point headquarters, I believe the one in Florida, the Florida campus was going to be renamed the Buckman campus because of the large donation from the couple, largest ever in Turning Point's history, which came from Carl and his wife, Nelda Buckman. Okay. Daily Wire actually had the exclusive story on this, and that's interesting to me. The $10 million gift and renaming the headquarters. Now, Nelda gave an interview, like I said, exclusively to the Daily Wire in January about her now budding relationship with Erica, the new chairman and the CEO. She shared that after Charlie's assassination, the two of them got really close. And she revealed that the two of them had met privately in Florida ahead of America Fest and did a dedication ceremony where Nelda said that she had offered Erica personal support and spoke with her about the challenges of navigating her new reality as a single mother, leading the organization, plus carrying forward her late husband's legacy. That's directly from the article on Daily Wire Plus. She says, quote, Erica and I talked about womanhood and what our culture has been teaching our young women and what we want to teach our young women, end quote. Now, Nelda Buckman is immediately interesting to me for two reasons. The first is that when I was looking into this more, I discovered that she executively produced, which is kind of a fancy way of saying financed, the documentary, which not many people saw, which was called Identity Crisis. It was a film out of nowhere in 2024, announced on stage by Ben Shapiro of Daily Wire and Turning Point USA were teaming up to do this film on gender. Hearing her name involved with that project, I went, oh, funny back.
Hey, real quick. I just want to point out something. I just looked it up. It's funny. Every article that she's mentioned has come from the Daily Wire. I looked it up. This article could have been found anywhere. I found it on Facebook. I found it on Instagram, of course, on Daily Wire. I found it on some other news outlets as well. A news outlet in Florida. Why does she keep using the Daily Wire? I'm going to go on a limb and without even looking, I bet you this movie that the lady was associated with, I bet you could find that article apart from Daily Wire. And I do think she's trolling, but I think she's hurt that Daily Wire keeps dogging her out. That's what I think it is. I think she realizes she's upset about it. She's got to throw some shade at them in some way, shape, or form and associate their names with this muck that she keeps stirring up. So that's in my opinion, why she's doing it. Because I just looked it up very quickly and I found that article is somewhere else besides Daily Wire. Why does she keep bringing up the Daily Wire? Let's finish up. Let's go.
Backstory to that, which I've already shared with you guys, that part of the way that Ben gets back at people is by buying things and trying to buy people. And he was really upset that I had called him out on stage and that Charlie had my back when I got fired. And he posted that he had my back on the day that I got fired and, made a statement. Charlie, we've just been friends for years. Obviously, that's not really that surprising.
But it is.
So what happened thereafter was that, and I told you this because I was told this by Charlie, that Ben started putting pressure on Charlie's donors and trying to get him not to let me speak at AmFest. This was told to me by Charlie. And I was like, dude, don't even let them stress you out, because now they were kind of squeezing him. Like, she can't speak. She's an anti-Semite, whatever. And I'm like, look, I'm banned from Australia. I don't even care about that, man. You don't let this bleed onto you, what I'm going through. I'll get through this. I'll be fine.
Let's check the dates. I need the best live chat on the internet. When was the last time that Candace was at AmFest? When was the last time? And when did this whole getting banned from Australia start? Because she just said, I'm banned from Australia. I thought that was in the last year or two. So I want to know, like, when was the last time, or has Candace ever spoken at AmFest? That might be a good question. Has she ever spoken at AmFest? And when did the getting banned from Australia? I want to say it started in 2024. I think that's when it happened, but I could be wrong. Anyway, this is just this is so sad.
I didn't know who exactly the donor was. I knew that they were feeding information also to Barry Weiss. And I then got a phone call from Andrew Colvet at that time saying to me,
Told
hey,
y'all, Andrew.
letting you know that we're going to allow Ben to effectively buy a place at AmFest. I know he doesn't normally speak here, and we want to make sure you're okay with that, obviously, because it's so much money. And like, I mean, it's an offensive amount of money, effectively. And he's buying a spot. And now,
so Andrew Colvet, and again, whether Andrew Colvet did or did not, I think she's using his name because she's trying to associate his name with all of the muck. You know, yesterday she basically said that he deleted Charlie Kirk. So now he's playing two sides, like, hey, let you know that Ben bought a position, blah blah blah. I need proof. I just need proof. We need evidence, because at the current moment, this is just story time with Candace. That's what we're gonna start calling this, story time with Candace, because there's no proof. There's no proof that any of this has happened, none whatsoever. And even with the stuff that she does show as proof isn't even evidence. Like, you just made a spreadsheet, ma'am. Congratulations, you passed 10th grade word processing. That's what they called it when I was a kid. Like, that's not a big deal. But this is dumb. I'm sorry, Candace, you're dumb.
now he's gonna, get involved and buy up this documentary that we're doing. And I was first and foremost, I was like, this is so unbelievably petty. It's so perfectly Ben. And also, I don't care. Take his money. Like, I want you guys to be successful. Like, I am not insecure in me and Charlie's friendship at all. If he's gonna have his friends go after, trying to make it look like me and Charlie aren't friends. So it was interesting to me to learn that Nelda Buckman, and I'm not saying that she necessarily was the person who put the pressure on it, but it's interesting to connect that dot, because it was particularly about this documentary that Andrew Colvet called me about. And he said, Charlie has to do this interview now with Ben, and that's what's happening. No big deal. What we can be certain of, again, that's just speculation, but what we can be certain of regarding Nelda Buckman is that she is an executive producer. She's also an artist. She's also a philanthropist. And like Erica, which is the compelling part here, she has done extensive work with foster children and in particular sex trafficking victims. Okay, Nelda works with National Angels. So it's like there's all of these different regions, Austin Angels, New Jersey Angels. She works with all of them to help foster children. Okay, I don't really have a gripe about that. I think I have shared. My mother spent time in a group home. There is a need. I am particularly open to the fact that there is.
I need you to rewind this. I'm not going to rewind because I'm angry now. Rewind this and listen to how she positions herself as if what she thinks about it is the end all be all. I'm not really particularly upset about that. I'm okay with that. As if her hearty approval is what anybody needs. God bless people who take foster children in. As if Candace's opinion really matters a hill of rock salt. This woman is sick. I mean, you just don't like Candace enough. You just don't like her enough.
Is a need and that the system is not great. But, and this part I would say, concerned about. It doesn't mean I'm concerned about Nelda, but this project in general existing gives me pause and gives me concern, because Nelda is one of the largest donors. She might even be the largest donor to Courage House, Nevada. Okay. I don't like anything that happens in Nevada. Blackmail rings. There's a lot of stuff that happens. Las Vegas, obviously. And this nonprofit, which advertises itself as providing safe homes for child sex trafficking survivors, and per its website in April 2025, it purchased a 40-acre property in Washoe County, Nevada. Okay. It planned to house 6 resident children. That's a lot of space for 6 children. All of these children are female. And
wow, man. I can't imagine what kind of the amount of wickedness that is in Candace's heart actually is staggering to me. You know what? I know y'all are like, Jason, stop doing this. I'm skipping this. I don't care. I don't care what she's talking about. I don't care. She's just talking about stupid stuff at this point. It just I can't this amount of wickedness is gonna have to, I mean, like, this is insane that you are so consumed with hate toward Erica Kurt and Turning Point, and dare I say Charlie Kirk specifically, that you'll do anything. You'll drag anybody's. You done put this poor woman out there as a donor, and she's made sure that you know it's a donor so that those lunatics that follow her can harass her. Why? Because she donates. Y'all, this one, yeah, you just don't like Candace enough. I'm sorry. I'm just not gonna do that. I'm sorry. I'm gonna come back. We'll finish it. I promise. I'm not rage quitting though, but I'm just I can't imagine these people open up their hearts and their homes and to donate or to take in children who have been trafficked in assault. And this woman got the nerve to raise her ashy lips and her project ponytail to dog these people out because they're doing it, and then put a specter of the most egregious on them of trafficking children. That woman needs it, man. Thank you so much for the $5 super. She's asking to do PR for a company that betrayed Charlie. I mean, because she don't really believe it. Sounds like she doesn't believe her own conspiracies or has no morals. Probably both. I think both. I like that. Thank you so much for the 5. Thank you so much, Irene. Always good to see you with the 5. I've just joined. What in the maroon shirt is going on? Oh, girl, let me tell you something. I have no idea what we're experiencing. I don't even know. But Phantom with the 2 says this: Hollywood movie as proof of reality, utter stupid. I mean, how in the world is she missing this? I don't even understand. Like, it's going to be studied by science. Shout out to Mike. Thank you so much for the 10. I think that Candace Owens is gearing up for her next script. She's taking on the whole world now, and she can spin that forever. She knows that she's lost her Charlie Kirk crusade. She's trying to triangulate. You know what? I can get with that. I can rock with that. Thank you for the 10. I do not disagree. Not a bit. I thank you for this too right here, Heather. She says this: where was rather Candace on 9, 8, 9, 9, and 9, 10? I don't know. I want to see phone logs and metadata. I'm right there with you. Coming back around the block, Phantom says this: I have been at my church a million times. Does not mean I was at the church when a specific event happened. This is classic crackhead logic. CCL. I love it. Ask Candace when is the last time she went to her church. Ask her when's the last time she asked her priest about the child abuse that's happened in the Catholic Church. Ask her about pregnant nuns. Ask her about those things. That's what needs to happen. Thank you so much for the 5 merit channels. Says this: she's trying to exploit herself from that word herself from the Macron case. See, no one believes what I say. I'm a moron conspiracy theorist. They can't sue me for entertainment. You know, thank you for this, by the way. Thank you for the 5. I was talking to somebody today, and I am starting to think that she's trying to position herself as going crazy. I do now believe that. The stuff that she says, I'm like, there's just no way in the world. There's just no way in the world you believe this as a whole grown human, that you would use your free will to put out these crazy theories unless you're crazy. I'm starting to believe it now. I could be swayed to believe that she's crazy. And then she's trying to make I know we've been talking about the insanity defense. I think she might be trying. I like it though. Phantom with the 2. Army Child Development Center for the USAA kids. Crackhead, what is it? Crazy crackhead logic, CCL. I love it, man. Thanks so much. Eric, shout out to you, brother, with the 5. I need to write Candace a letter. on behalf of Jason, asking her to let him interview her. It would be more interesting than just watching her ramble. I'd interview Candace. I would. It would be a mess though, because I'm gonna use that mute button. You're gonna stop talking. But no, I would absolutely interview her. MT with the 2 says this Erica needs to speak up herself. Until then, truthfully, I don't think the things that she's saying are so ridiculous. Like, let's look at the Fort Huachuca. She's saying that she was at Fort Huachuca. Erica sends a picture of the screenshot rather of a conversation with her and Charlie. That's not good enough. I need to see the name without the redaction. She sends something that's not good enough. Now she wants something else. She's never going to be satisfied. Stop engaging with her. She doesn't deserve anything. Then you know what? Erica should send me the stuff. Like, send it to me. I mean, I had the same executive power as Candace. Why are you not sending it to me? Like, it makes no sense. I think they need to stop engaging with her at all. And anybody that does, you're fired. You're done. I mean, I'm sorry. Give me your computer right now. If Erica says X and people say A, I'm sorry, person A says Erica says X, not X, that does not make Erica a liar. Either person A is a liar or person A must have provided evidence. This is CCL. Thank you so much, Phantom, for the 5. I appreciate it. MT comes around the block again with the 10. I have Candace fatigue, but I've also realized that Charlie did this to himself and his family. He could have shut this down while alive, but chose not to. He laid with dogs, and now his family has fleas. Yeah, I can't even be mad at you, my dude. Yeah, I've said this. Like, Charlie should have put the kibosh on this. Yeah. And I'm sure if Charlie knew, looking into the future, using the time stone from from Thanos's gauntlet, if he had done that, I think he would have definitely shut it down. But now it is what it is. But good gracious, man! Thank you so much for the 5 right here. Have you spoke to Gary with this evening? His podcast was pulled by YouTube after about 10 minutes. No, I've not. I did talk to Gary earlier today about doing a show tomorrow, but I've not talked to him because I was picking up my baby from school. So I will reach out to him real quick and see what I missed. But no, I did not speak to him. Thank you so much for that, though. Thank you for letting me know. I will hit him up in a second. She's getting herself in trouble. Victor Marks is a good friend of the Kirks. If you don't know who he is, Google him. If he gets wind of this, well, can we tell Victor Marks? He will set her. Can we call Victor Marks? Do we need like a bat signal? What do we need to tell? Thank you, Jody, for the $10. What do we need to tell Victor? Because we need Victor. Then we need Victor to step up. Can Victor step into the chat? I'll send him a link right now. He can watch with me. AmFest started in 2021. Candace spoke in 2022 and 2023. She hasn't spoken since. Okay, thank you so much. So she spoke 2 years ago. No, roughly 2 years ago. Okay. All right, cool. All right. Thank you so much for that, by the way. Thank you for the 5. And thank you again, Ruben. She thinks it's weird that a base has a CDC, Child Development Center. Every base literally has, so they have childcare. It's called the Child Development Center. Hashtag crazy crackhead logic. I was wondering that, but I hadn't taken the time to process it. But I was thinking, like, isn't that a school? Like, why are you making it sound like it's something? Not sure. They make it sound all fancy, but it sounds like a daycare. That's what it sounded like to me. But I thought I was maybe just being picky. Okay, let's finish this up. I'm so tired of this woman. I mean, the Candace fatigue is real. I'm so sick of her because the stuff she comes up with is just dumb.
It's this kid's going through some stuff where I want to be a supportive parent. I think they were very ill-guided. It was obvious to me that as soon as you start saying that children have the authority when they're 4 to decide about their bodies, we know what comes next. We just know what comes next. It's obvious. And they're always trying to throw these things out to exist between like a left-right paradigm, but it's just the sickos at the top trying to accomplish their aims and also slowly introducing this in culture. We spoke about that, how they're now kind of soft selling us incest and pedophilia at all times. And of course, if you've read Hollywood Babylon in our book club, then you know that this is the founding story of Hollywood. That is Hollywood's founding story. They were after.
So during the Macron debacle, because I call it a debacle because at the end of the day, nothing's going to happen. Like Candace doesn't realize that she is not a judge, nor a jury, nor an executioner, nor a lawmaker. None of this actually matters if a lawmaker doesn't get involved in it. But let me back up where I was going with this. During the Macron story, I'd ask people, what does it matter what Candace does? And they're like, well, she's going to expose these terrible PDF files and this S trafficking. I said, let me ask you a question. Did you not already know that? Did you not already know that Hollywood did those terrible things? Did you not know that the music industry was full of really rotten, low down, dirty, rotten people? Did you not know these things? So my next question is, what is she going to expose that you did not already know? And I'm going to ask you another question. What are you doing about the things that you already know? Because if you're not doing anything about them, aren't you complicit in them? And I asked the question, and a lot of people didn't like it, and that's okay. I said, what is the end goal? Like Candace is going to expose the fact that the Macrons are sinners. She's going to expose the fact that Hollywood is filled to the gills with sinners. Music industry, arts and entertainment, politics. You know what? I think it's fair to say that the whole world is full of sinners. And you know what sinners do? I know this is crazy talk. Could you put in the chat, what do sinners do? What do sinners do? Like when the smoke clears, sinners do what? They sin. They sin. That's what we do. We sin. We're pretty good at it too. We've gotten proficient. We've gotten proficient at sinning. So what does Candace pointing out that the Macrons are sinners, what does that do if you're not going to give them the solution? If there's no solution, and I said this before, like there's no redemption in her storytelling. There is no way to bring somebody from a place of being a sinner to recognizing that they're a sinner and turning to Christ in full acceptance and repentance. There's none. So really, when all of this is said and done, it leads nowhere. It's just an activity. She's just on a hamster wheel. There's nothing that changes. Not one thing. She doesn't provide a solution. And you know she doesn't provide a solution because she never talks about a solution. She never bring up that this person needs Jesus Christ. Brigitte Macron, whether it's a female or male, whether she sits or she stands, needs Christ. Emmanuel Macron, Andrew Colvin, Tyler Boyer, fill in the blanks. They need Christ. She'll never do that because she doesn't know it. But even worse than that, I don't even think she cares. I don't even think Candace even gives a care. She doesn't care. She just wants to expose people and their debauchery. Maybe to make herself feel better, maybe to hide her own sin, maybe to make her feel like she's superior. But at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, not one thing will change in these people's lives. You do realize that even if let's just say that she's able to find whoever deleted Charlie Kirk, she's still got to go through the legal process. And the likelihood is that whomever she finds is probably going to get off because all of her evidence came from weird sources. Dreams, for crying out loud, dreams, and nothing will happen. Not one thing will change. That person will skate off free. Same thing with the Macrons. So I'm going to finish this up, but I just want y'all to think about that. Like, we're watching hamster wheel behavior. This is hamster wheel behavior up in this piece. Nothing accomplished. Now I'm having a good time with y'all. And again, I only do this because the best live chat on the internet keeps coming every day. And I really do appreciate y'all. You all have been a blessing to me to have you all jump into the best live chat and just chop it up and you got your little friends and all that kind of stuff. I love it. I absolutely adore it. But Candace right here, this woman is lost like a ball in tall weeds. I mean, she's just gone. She's just gone. And I mean, and just ask yourself in honesty, you don't even have to believe me. How does this, where's the resolution to this? What would be the resolution? I would love for you to tell me. You can email me, dearwokec@gmail.com. Here you go. You can email me if you find the resolution. By the way, if you find this is how the resolution comes. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. I'll read it. I'll check it out. And if it makes sense, I'll even read on the air. But most of the people logically that are not crazy and smooth brained, they realize none of this actually matters. Not one thing is going to change. The same people that are making filthy, rotten movies will still be making filthy, rotten movies when Candace gets done. Same people that are not making good laws, they're going to still doing the same thing. You know why? Because they're sinners, and that's what sinners do. That's what they do, and they need Christ. Candace won't give them that because Candace doesn't have Christ. My name is Jason, dearwokec@gmail.com. Let's go.
This Babylonian culture, they largely imported a bunch of Viennese directors who had been engaging in pedophilia over in Vienna, and that it was rampant. It was just rampant. Anyway, Nick Fuentes is one of these people who is trying to soften it. So for clarity, before we listen to this clip, Jeffrey Epstein had been accused of trafficking children, 8 years old, 11 years old. He, for his own birthday, as a birthday present to himself, found some 12-year-old triplets who were dirt poor, and his friend, Jean-Luc Brunel in Paris, flew these 12-year-old triplets to Jeffrey Epstein, okay? No one's arguing about Jeffrey Epstein's perverted interest, a sexual interest. Someone's arguing that. However, Nick Fuentes is going to explain why actually that's not pedophilia. Take a listen.
This whole pedo thing, it's like, is it really pedophilia? I don't want to be the one that has to say it, but I guess I'm being forced to say it. It's not really pedophilia, okay? They weren't trafficking 5-year-olds. It was like they were technically not legal. Big difference, in my opinion. I know that's a controversial take, but that's not really the issue there, okay? The issue is not that they were barely legal teens, which is what it is. It's horrendous. It's awful. It's pedophilia. Okay, relax. No, the issue is that Epstein is a Jewish spy, probably working with Israel. That's the dilemma there. He's working with Israeli intelligence.
I'm going to stop real quick. Nick Fuentes is classic. And by the way, if you follow on my channel, I have a playlist of my pastor and pastors going through the book of James. And so every Sunday we upload the video to the playlist. It's called the Book of James. Playlist is on my channel. I bring that up because this Sunday, he's going through the James chapter 1, verse 5, where it talks about wisdom. If you need wisdom. And if you don't have it, one of the things he calls you is that you're double-minded. And Nick Fuentes is the classic. If you need a picture of a double-minded person, it's Nick Fuentes, because he's not faithful to God's word. So he just kind of goes wherever. He'll say whatever and does whatever that will fit the narrative for a moment. And later on, it might be 2 weeks, a month, or 2 years later, he'll say something contrary to it. He'll change his mind. But it's not because he has some new revelation. It's because he's double-minded. And the fact that Nick said this doesn't surprise me one bit. Nick is a troubled man because he is in the clutches of his sin. His sin rule and reign over his life. And please don't waste your time telling me he's Catholic. Don't waste your time with that. You don't want that smoke today. So that's why he's like this. So you see him and he just says some crazy stuff, right? And he does because he himself is in the clutches of sin. And it's ruling and reigning and rotting his body through and out. That's what the problem is. And the same thing is true with Candace. The exact same thing is Candace. The fact that she's calling out Nick is going to have to be studied by science because, ma'am, you do the exact same thing. Sure, Nick is saying some pretty gross stuff, but Candace, you've been talking for 30 minutes doing the exact same thing. bearing false witness, lying on people, coveting, being greedy, taking the Lord's name in vain. We could go down the whole 10 commandments and I can probably find you've broken every last one of them at least this week. Let's go.
Honestly, this is a time where it is appropriate to say this.
Stop. That's it. That's all I have.
It's funny that she uses Erica for stop when Erica was telling you to stop. That's some diabolical work right there. That is some diabolical, grade A, crazy foolishness right there.
To say. Stop.
Agree. I watched just stop right there. Why are we always here in society for no reason? How easy is it not to do that? Okay, not to try to use some technicality, which, by the way, who do you think is in control of these definitions, by the way? I mean, they are changing the definition of what it means to be a girl and a boy right now. So if you can find, well, look at this definition. Technically, if the person is 11, if the person's not under 5, who cares if they're prepubescent? The point is not pedophilia. We're just, we've expanded the definition. We're constantly expanding and changing definitions to confuse people against common sense. Okay. If
But
you are sexually interested.
no. And again, whatever the heck Nick Fuentes is saying, I mean, Nick is uber dumb on a lot of levels. So, I mean, that's just what it is. Sometimes he says some stuff that is on the money. Sometimes he's just completely dumb. And that was a dumb statement. But the thing is, wisdom is understanding that God has created a reality and we operate in that reality. That's it. That really is wisdom in a nutshell. That's my paraphrase of it. A little snippet from my pastor's sermon coming up this Sunday. But wisdom is knowing that God has created a reality and I can't change that reality. I can't change up from being up and down from being down. I can't change. You can't change it. It is what it is. God has created it and I'm going to operate in it. The problem is all of this kerfuffle that we have is the fact that we don't want to submit to reality and we want something else. Well, now we want something else. And as we've said already, we're on the find out aspect of that equation. Let's finish up, Jason.
In prepubescent children, you're a pedophile. How about that? Is that easy? Thumbs up? Cool? We good? And what is just so remarkable to me, and like I said, I've been fine with him doing his thing. Obviously, he's a federal informant. It's ridiculous for people that don't understand that. It's ridiculous that people just keep.
Everybody's a federal, you know what? Everybody's a federal informant. Okay. Because Candace kind of jumps over the fact that the 920 building where her lawyers work out of is a federal building. She just kind of ignores that fact. But everybody else is a Fed. She ignores the fact that Tucker Carlson's father worked in the CIA and Tucker never knew it. But people are suspect because their great grandfather was in the military. Whatever, Candace, just stop. It doesn't even make sense at this point. I think at this point, we're just here to watch the train wreck. That's all we're doing.
Following him, despite the overwhelming evidence. I mean, this guy took a meeting with Dan Wilkes' partner after years of screaming about Ben Shapiro and talking about Israel. And he took a meeting with Defend Texas Liberty and Ferris Wilkes' partner and pitched. They actually, one reporter got documents, was pitching to sell the data of his followers. And people were like, that's fine. He led people into a Capitol with a bullhorn and said, ignore police, storm the barriers, as if he had fed instructions. And we know for a fact he was informed the night before by Milo Yiannopoulos that the feds were going to beat, that there was some Fed trap happening. And despite that, he went with a bullhorn. He didn't just attend, he had a bullhorn and he's telling people to storm and he doesn't get arrested. And
you know, Candace, that's probably fair. Nick, I believe Nick probably is a federal agent. I do kind of believe that. Like on a real level, I do kind of believe Nick is a Fed. But like play this game with me. Imagine somebody being able to go on the interweb, on this here internet, and say the most bombastic stuff about the quote unquote most dangerous group of people on the planet, and they themselves have no negative impact. Everything that they experience is esoteric. You know, like, oh, they're following me and they're putting out hits on me, sending me emails, and they're saying nasty, mean things. But this person gets away with it all the time. But the people that she's calling out are supposed to be the most ruthless. They rule the world. Everybody's scared of them and all that kind of stuff like that. But this person can just get away with it. I mean, just wholesale. She can expose all their dirty draws and tell all their terrible stories every day and never bat an eye. Never. Doesn't get demonetized, doesn't get deplatformed, channels up every day. It's boosted. Matter of fact, it gets more publicity than a lot of the other channels. Would you say that person was a Fed? Would you say that person was an industry plant? Would you say that person had some inside intel? I would. What about you?
His lawyer wants to go off record when he's asked directly about whether or not he is a federal informant. It's been so in your face and obvious. The ridiculous, oh, I just got $250,000 in Bitcoin from France from a guy who's killed himself and published a letter 24 hours after he was dead, because he set it on a timer and it's in perfect English. And anybody who's ever been to France, French people don't speak perfect English. They are not writing a letter in English, even if they speak perfect English. It's just been so absurd that it offends my senses. It offends my sensibility that people.
The fact that somebody writing in French offends your sensibility, but you besmirching people who want to help trafficking victims, and dare I say, you're putting a specter as if they themselves are the traffickers. That doesn't offend your sensibility? Ma'am, your sensibility is trash. Your sensibility is trash. You don't feel any kind of inkling or any kind of like nudging or any kind of like tinge of like, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe these people are okay. Okay. Yeah, ma'am, nobody cares about your inclinations.
Have been following him. This is a Glee Club kid. Okay, he's dramatic. I like Nick Fuentes clips. Like I like watching Real Housewives clips. And this is, by the way, the problem, as I've said, that heterosexual men cannot continue to follow theater boys. This is actually an illness in our society, is that people who are playing the part of men and are actually at their core theater boys and want to go to Congress and want to have platforms and would never fight wars, they are, for whatever reason, being listened to by actual men.
The irony of your own husband being a theater boy is going to have to be studied. Like, I don't know what level, that's probably like level 3000 irony that your own husband would qualify as a theater boy that you just explained. I know. I'm just here. I'm just here for the laughs and the giggles.
This was just unbelievable to me that the statement was made and you couldn't see that it was going to end here. Of course, this is what happens. This is what happens when you elect or you decide that you're going to follow people who don't like women. That's the reality. They don't like women. So family offends them. And despite making that statement, he then tries to do a 180 and pretend he didn't just say what we heard him say. Here's what he said in a follow-up where he's going to yell at you for hearing what he just said, which is that it's not pedophilia. Take a listen.
Okay, somebody make sure you clip this out and send this to Nathan Livingstone, because we need the fact that Candace can point out the inconsistencies with Nick Fuentes, but yet she herself will sit on Pierce Morgan and say she didn't say certain things is, again, that's nasty work. Diabolical.
This is not just about somebody was trafficking girls somewhere. That's not the story. The story is someone was trafficking girls to acquire blackmail to sell to Israel. That is the point. And that is what I said last night. I said, for someone to make it all about pedophilia, I said, it's kind of just like, it's not really true, because again, it does get away from what's happening there. It is not satanic pedophilia cult stuff. It is really run-of-the-mill prostitution and sex trafficking, but for a international political purpose. And it's important not to lose sight of that. I saw Marjorie Greene say this is about female victims. It's actually not about female victims. It's about the integrity of our government. You understand the difference? It's not to say we're not sympathetic. It's not to say that it's not criminal. It's not to say that it's good. I'm not defending it.
Good luck with that,
This
Nick.
is not Dateline. This is not a human interest story. This is a layered crime. It's one crime in the furtherance of a much more politically significant crime. But all these dumb, I mean, they literally just don't have the IQ to understand that. For them, it's just about screeching about the same nonsense every day. They don't understand what they're talking about. They have no idea about anything. They hear something they don't like. They say, oh, he's with Israel now. He got paid. I'm sorry. I've been doing this way longer than you. When did you come on the scene? When did you get red pilled? Last year? 10 minutes ago? When did you start talking about this stuff? Oh, now you're the expert and the gatekeeper. I'm done with that. I'm out. Seriously. You don't have to unfollow me because I'm out. This whole movement of Gen X idiots that are obsessed with satanic pedophile elite and psycho conspiracy kookery that doesn't even make sense, this Candace Owens bullshit, I'm out of all that. Seriously.
Oh,
I'm done with that.
That's why she's upset.
this is the
Okay.
Kudu stuff.
Oh, that's what it was. Oh, that's why. I was kind of wondering, like, why does Candace care about this? And he literally told me why Candace cares about this. There we go. That's why. Right at the end, last 2 seconds, buzzer beater.
Across from me and said that people that are sub-Saharan just don't have a high IQ. Let me tell you what he strikes me as. Nick strikes me as someone who was really bright in high school. Then he got a little bit of fame and he stopped reading books. That's it. This is what happens. People go, I made it. I don't have to learn anymore. I can just shut off my brain and keep repeating the same talking points. Because if you do not understand that this is a cult, that the theology matters much more than the politics, okay? This like left-right dialectic, it means nothing until you understand the theology that is guiding these elites worldwide. And it is, in fact, occultic. It is, in fact, satanic. And these are, in fact, ritualistic. It's all over. You need but read articles that are in your...
So let's just play a game. Let's just say that everything Candace just said is 100% on the money, right on the nose. It is satanic. It's occultic. It's ritualistic. She said the theology of it. What do you use to, how do you defeat it? What do you use to defeat this type of behavior, Candace? Because I don't know. Tell me, Candace. I would love to know. If you're a Cantifa member, how do you defeat that? How do you defeat a satanic cult that's doing terrible things to kids and they probably don't pay their taxes? And I bet you they step on people's brand new shell toe Adidas. They probably do it on purpose too. And that's low down. That's low down. But what do you do? How do you fix that? What is the resolution to that? I'd love to know. You don't watch it, but it still exists though. These people still, when the smoke clears, they're still going to hell. They're going to bust hell wide open. So what do you give them, Candace? What do you give them? Sure, you've exposed them. What do you give them to change their hearts? What do you do? I'd love to hear it, Candace. I just love to hear it. And I think the problem is, the problem is she doesn't have a solution. All she's doing is just raking up people's sin and putting it out on display. That's really all she's doing. There's nothing more than that. Really, when the smoke clears, she put out Nick's sin and the craziest that Nick says, but she has no solution to it. She puts out Jeffrey Epstein's or puts out Kanye West's or somebody, everybody's sin, but there's no solution. What do? They're just going to keep being sinners. Now y'all know that I'm a low down, dirty, rotten sinner. Guess what? I got to go keep being a sinner because I don't have a solution. I don't know a solution. I can't find the thing either. Okay, here we go.
Your face or conduct even a minor incursion into the history of psychology, which was brought upon our source, our source, a minor incursion even to the establishment of Hollywood. It's right there in your face. And by the way, It is actually low IQ anti-Semitism, like you call it, to just go, oh, well, that's just all Jews. That's why I don't like Dave Smith. I don't even like Dave Smith, even though he's completely on our side on everything. It's him. That's actually what low IQ anti-Semitism is. Because to be clear, this occultic ritualistic stuff, these people are gypsies. They exist in every faith. Let's be clear. Aleister Crowley was a student of this. Did Aleister Crowley exist? Did Jack Parsons exist?
What's the solution though? Fine. Gypsies are bad people now. Now the gypsies catching smoke. Add that to the ever increasing list of who's catching smoke today, right? So what's the solution, Candace? What's the solution? What do you give these people who now realize that they are in deep soup? What do you give them? I'd love to know.
Who established the Apollo program at NASA, was he similarly conducting occult sexual rituals to establish a moon child? Did we then suddenly go to the moon after the Apollo program was established? So actually, Nick, it's you that is demonstrating that you have a low IQ, or rather that you are trying to tell your audience to stop learning. You're trying to convince them, and by the way, you're trying to convince them that Satan is a conspiracy theory. Keep focused on the minutia. The left versus right, right? It's Israel versus America. It's not bigger than that. There's no global conspiracy happening. We weren't told that Satan's going to inherit the earth. This is why he also strikes me as someone who does not attend mass regularly. First, because of the way he speaks. There is such a thing as having a Catholic conscience. It's difficult to speak in the manner that he does all the time. If you were attending mass, which he should do, I think it would make him a better person. But far be it from me to give Nick Fuentes any suggestions.
So what does it look like, Candace? Because we don't hear from you. Now you just went off and railed on Nick for whatever it's worth, but man, we don't hear anything that changes, that would help us from you. I have something for y'all. Stay around to the end, y'all.
Questions, because the last time when I just asked him who he was dating, or like, hey, you're gonna get married one day, he lost his mind. He started acting like a raging homosexual, calling me all sorts of things, of course, when he was in the comfort of his own home, and very much embodying the stereotype of women that you see on reality TV. This is actually was his reply to me for asking him about whether he wanted to get married one day.
Sit down and shut the up, bitch. That's what a man has to say.
Just a general rule. If you have to say I'm a man, which he then follows up by saying I'm a real man, you probably aren't one. Okay. Hey, Brigitte, if you got a suit to prove you're a woman, you're probably not one. Real men, their natural inclination is to protect women and children. That's a fact. A woman's natural inclination is to respect men when they are exhibiting the attributes of true masculinity, protecting women and children. Not getting up on a platform and trying to soft sell the definition of pedophilia by saying, well, it wasn't 5-year-olds, and so it's okay. And by the way, to that clip of him yelling, all I can ever see is the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Take a look at this.
Sit down and shut the up, bitch. That's what a man has to say.
A real man. That's how I talk to my sisters when they took my shirt when I was in high school, and just yell, scream at them, and point. Anyway, it's a call for actual real men to stand up and become leaders and to help us fight what we are fighting, which is a spiritual war. Yes, it does matter. And
but how do you fight it though? Like, do you fight it with, like, what do you fight it with, Candace? That's what we're asking you for. You're saying it, fine. We all believe you, Candace. There's 1,100 people in the best live chat on the internet. Fine. We need to fight it. How do we fight it? Do we go fisticuff? We duking it out? What do we do? How do we fight this evil, Candace? Since you've told us, how do we fight it? I think that's the problem. Now, I don't think Nick is any any more right than you are, Candace. But guess what, Candace, you're dead wrong. You have no solutions, man.
Perhaps the wrong person to deliver this line, from which movie? I forgot which movie this is, but it is true. Unusual Suspects. It the usual suspects. Skylar has corrected me, but this quotation is definitively true. Take a listen.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
Actually, maybe he was the exact right person to deliver that line. Take a brief break and then discuss some of your comments from yesterday's episode about the GATE program, which were fascinating.
So
Alrighty,
what
guys,
what
do you make
so what does it matter? Like I don't think I really feel like I'm missing something. But you know what? I'm not going to even asking more questions. Shout out to the best, most electrifying live chat on the internet. Stay around to the end. I got something to hopefully encourage you at the end. All right, what do we have here? Thank you so much. Phantom says this: discovering problems without answers. Hashtag CCL. If you're not familiar, that's crazy crackhead logic. Shout out for sure. I like that. That might have to become a thing. MTX. Megan said the same exact thing as Nick about Jeffrey Epstein. It really, Megyn Kelly or Meghan Markle? A lot of people have been bringing Meghan Markle into the discussion as well. I think this is Megyn Kelly the way you spelled it. Keep it going. Her priest needs to do an exorcism now. Thank you, Kayla, with the $2. I appreciate it. Phantom came back around the block, and we know he was a spy of Israel. How? It is likely that he is an FBI, CIA, FBI recruit. Oh, FBI criminal. I'm sorry, CI, which is a criminal informant. Recruits are offering immunity for crime. CIA does not use that. Thank you so much. I'm sorry for fumbling that up. Thank you so much, Phantom. You give the feds too much credit. Feds ain't good. I did give them too much credit. You're right. Shout out again. Theology matters. That's rich coming from Candace. CCL. You got to put the hashtag though. You got to make sure you put hashtag CCL every time. Candace gives them the lead paint chips that she ate. Shout out for sure. Keeping this going. Tracy, thank you so much for the 10. What Candace calls investigating, I call stalking. Also, how do her followers not see she is gaslighting all day, every day? Is her husband actually okay? Do we even know? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, no, but I don't know. Thank you so much for that. Let's finish this up. Phantom with the 5. Wait, Satan's going to inherit the earth? Right. She said that before. She said that several times actually. And I don't know where she's getting that from. And that's a very weird statement. She said this multiple times. I don't think that's a misspeak. I think somehow or another, yeah, that's not a misspeak. I don't know where she's getting that from. This is not in the actual Bible. Yahweh controls the earth. True Christians believe Christ will come back. And Satan doesn't rule and reign over the earth. That's just it. But thank you so much. All right, let's finish this up. She's back. Okay, I'm ready. We're going to finish this up. Let's go.
Cannot agree on that. Anyway, if you'd like to support our show, we have new merch on the website. It's amazing. It's actually my favorite merch drop. You can also buy program and any other child development program that's in schools for extraordinary students or gifted and talented students. There was this comment yesterday's episode. I have to read this. This was from Nika. Nika wrote, "Hey,
holy cow!
A tag gate kid here. Total memory blackout from ages 4 to 10, the exact years, because that was responding to a comment of somebody else who had a memory blackout being a part of this program. With the exact years that I was at Fort Hood on base. Later 80s, early 90s, military brat. Dad was a doctor doing residency adjacent to a biolab at the Army hospital. I wouldn't follow protocol as a kid after the program had skipped me a grade, etc. And so after the Army, I got shuffled through 4 different schools that I later discovered are all connected to the DoD through the Aspen Education Group. I think they changed the name. I have docs, but yeah. And shell companies. I've gone through hell and back with loads of FOIAs to my name, just trying to figure out what happened to me at Turnabout Ranch in Escalante, Utah. New Horizons Academy, now closed for abuse in Marion, Indiana. Its sister school, child labor work camp in the middle of nowhere called Missinaibi Woods Academy in Canada. They have another school in the DR, but I didn't go there. Also, Darlington in Rome, Georgia, and of course, Texas. The struggle is real. Keep up the good fight, Candace. Thanks for making it safe to talk about this publicly. I legit have gone through hell and back, and I know the neighborhood because of all of this. The weird phenomena is real. Lights break above my head. when I flipped a switch, cabinets slam when I get mad enough, and I can, I don't know, I guess connect with what I can only describe as stars that respond to my request, like please move or light up, etc. I know this sounds insane. I don't care though. It's no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. And I'm grateful I don't fit in, not cut from the same cloth, but whatever happened to us as kids, we deserve answers.
So this is not, this message doesn't bother her that this person sent her this message. Okay. Just want to make sure.
While I personally don't care about retribution, just answers. You're giving us permission to speak our truth. Thank you. And there were so many comments of people reflecting this, that they, yes, when I run, I was in the gate program, lights go out. I told you that was something that Charlie said. And it's so weird. They're like mocking Charlie by mocking me. He said it. He said he thought he was a time traveler. He went to a special school.
But saying that you're a time traveler doesn't mean what you're trying to make it into, Candace. You're almost being like super literal, as if you don't understand somebody using that as an analogy. Never mind, just let it go.
And yeah, it's very interesting that these programs existed. I honestly think I was spared. So interesting to hear you say they wanted to transfer you to a special academy, because the same thing happened to me. I took the test. It was third grade, I remember, and all the kids got their state test exams back, and mine was late. And I was sitting in Miss Balistreri's class. And then they brought my mom in, and they were like, you know, Candace got a very high score on this, and we'd like to put her in what was called the Extraordinary Learners Program. And after being in a couple of these classes, they then said to my mom that we would like to pay for her to go all expenses to this academy, King Low Haywood Private School. And my mom was like, well, you should go to this. This is an amazing opportunity. And then I started bursting out in tears, crying, being like, Mom, please don't make me go. We had just changed schools, elementary schools. And I was like, I just made new friends again. I do not want to make new friends. Essentially, I promise I will be an idiot. Just do not make me change schools. And I wonder, first off, I did. I then purposely did, like, was trying not to do the best. I still, was in AP honors classes, but I was kind of very reticent about school. And I do remember I still had to do the ELP program. And I remember us going on buses to separate schools. It's really interesting to think about what is the actual aim of these programs, probably to identify kids and make sure that if they are in any measure brilliant, and I'm not saying that I'm brilliant, I just happen to be in one of these programs.
That does not increase my faith in those programs. That actually now makes me think those programs are suspect. I'm just saying.
Well, we want you to work for the government. They probably want to make sure that they can track you. And that is a totally sensible conclusion, especially if you read through the comments. Guys, you must. I feel like I could do a whole series on these programs now. I want to just investigate these programs. I think there are some, by the way, podcasts that are doing that. But yeah, it was amazing to read your comments. People that talked about which DOD people came to meet with them, that they had to sit down with Army people, had to sit down with military people. It is all there. It is happening in the comment section. We need Brett Cooper back. That's what I'm saying. We need Brett Cooper to go deep in this comment section.
See, that's the thing. Like, Candace, you have your own network. You could bring Brett Cooper on to do that. You could do that. You could live stream Brett's show. You could post her up. There's a lot of different ways that you could do that, but you won't. And that's the part that just amazes me. You're busy sitting around here talking about how terrible Turning Point is, and you can tell she's upset about not being on the stage, not being invited to AmFest. You can tell. She does not like the fact she didn't go to AmFest, the memorial. She's not involved in the ins and outs of Turning Point. Nobody reached out and said, hey, Candace, why don't you come on? Anything of that nature. Because this is something to think about, just in case you think, Jason, you're going too far. If Charlie Kirk was her best friend, just thick as thieves, right? And he fired her from Turning Point, let her go, pushed her out of Turning Point. Why was the next thing that she thought would happen would be that, and they stayed friends. They still, sent key text messages and such like that. I'm a time traveler. I'm an alien. Why, as soon as he died, did she think that Turning Point was going to call her to bring her in? What changed? Oh, Charlie Kirk changed. There you go. I think Charlie Kirk was keeping her away from Turning Point. I think he was the one, and Erica more specifically was keeping her away from Turning Point. I think she's been chomping at the bit, even though she doesn't mention it. I think deep down inside, she's always wanted to be in this position of ruling over Turning Point. I mean, I could be wrong, but am I? Y'all want to finish this up? It's like 2 minutes left. Let's go.
I'd pay for that. Anyway, I will read some more comments from today's episode. Rachel writes, Satan knows that his time is short, the same future that they kept seeing. Oh, sorry, from yesterday's episode.
Yeah, that's
is that
yesterday.
God
See?
wins. He always wins. That's how I feel. That is how I feel about Project Looking Glass. Like, how do we change this? How do we change this? And so they are now probably just putting a bunch of white walkers all across society. You know what I mean when I say white walkers? Just abused children that they've kind of turned into automated programs and will do whatever they say. That's what I feel is happening. I'm also struck. I know I'm kind of ranting at you guys now.
Yeah,
but
you
I'm
are.
also struck by this push toward Greenland. And I'll tell you why, because I was like, why are we suddenly talking about Greenland so much? Like, I'm not saying that we don't have a history of discussing Greenland as an asset, but it feels like they're kind of ratcheting that up. And they're like, no, we need Greenland tomorrow. I'm like, what's going on? I had no idea that we had this military base, underground military base that was established there, particularly to launch missiles during the Cold War. So America is quite literally invested there. But the missile thing was a trigger for me because I showed you that as a part of Charlie's predictions, not only was he going to die, but he felt that there was some devastation coming pertaining to a war involving missiles. I can't remember the exact text message, but that's interesting to me. That is very, all of it I find to be compelling. And that's why I talk about it on my show, because it's my show. And
That's
it's what I'm
interesting.
interested in. And I'm sorry that I don't suffer from whatever it is that makes people think that the cool kids are the ones that listen to the government. I think you are the lamest people ever. The people that take money to repeat government talking points, like, you are just so lame. You're so uncool, like, and trying to make it cool, like Gretchen trying to make fetch. It's not working. We don't care. We're going to talk about this stuff. We're going to talk about the GATE program. We're going to talk about telepathy. We're going to talk about kids running with streetlights that are going off.
Because we're not going to be talking about Charlie Kirk. I told y'all she was going to pivot off of the Charlie Kirk assassination. And Charlie Kirk's assassination is just getting like a passing glance now. Now she wants to talk about crazy conspiracies, because I do think she's trying to stack the deck that she's crazy and that nobody listens to me. Nobody believes what I'm talking about. So why would y'all believe that Brigitte is a man? Like, that's what I really believe she's trying to do now.
And yeah, it's opening up a lot. And I think that it has the government quite nervous. And in the end, we are going to speak about the fact that Christ will win. In fact, in many ways, he has already won. Okay, read a couple of more comments from today's episode.
Ooh.
Jesus is King, appropriately, from Luke. Praying constantly, sending my angel to help you, and Tucker. Nick, I like him, but he doesn't know what he's talking about. Been making YouTube videos for 10 years, but now with the spiritual battle, I need to help. I would love to have you on my pod in the future. Thank you. Yeah, he's just not equipped for this at all, actually. And he should take some time off and learn, actually. Maybe he can learn from a sub-Saharan African. That might help him. Jess writes, Christ is King, go Max. Matthew Alvarado writes, I can see the Groypers losing their minds over this. You guys have no idea how much he keeps saying that he's done talking about you, but clearly has not stopped since. He knows deep down that you are right. He's got potential. He could read some books and he could be helpful, but men should not follow him. He doesn't have anything in his life you should follow what you want to mirror, what you want to become, what you think is good and whole. A person ranting angry about women and now soft selling pedophilia, I hope that's not your aim.
Let me ask a question. Why should women follow Candace? I'd love to maybe have somebody explain to me, why should women follow Candace and maybe not follow Allie Beth Stuckey or Melissa Doherty or any other faithful female teacher or woman? Like, what would be a reason why should women follow Candace? I think that'd be a great question.
Smart at political topics and political takes. That one was really dumb. And what he should have done is had exercised some humility and said, I completely misspoke and that was stupid and I'm sorry. That was just dumb. That's all it takes. But he can't, because he's got people telling him that all you have to do is double down on stupid. Again, he actually suffers from the need to be cool. Like, if I'm Dan Wilkes, I would just buy a bot army, and I would just have them say this. And I know that he'd say it because he responds to internet peer pressure, which is lame.
Wow. You know, I'm noticing like the comments are really becoming the show, in my opinion. I almost wish we could jump to just her reading the comments because all that other stuff, the all that was just tripe. But the comments are really when she's reading the comments, she really freestyles and she goes way out over her skis. This is craziness, y'all, for sure. Okay, let me finish this up because I got 2 points I want to make. Real quick, let's finish this.
Sis Bear writes, your last video made me think of the whistleblower Sabrina Wallace. She was a child who claims DARPA tested biosonar on her and other children in the 80s and 90s. They looked like gorgeous, special kids that stood out. That is fascinating. And like I said, there should be an entire series on this. I do think that Charlie was DARPA tested. I think he was, obviously, we can prove it. He was tracked by the military. I mean, Turning Point was established in part by Bill Montgomery, who was Air Force, involved with the Air Force. I think we read that yesterday, was on the reserve. So we're on the right.
So does that mean, okay, so following that same logic, then Tucker Carlson is in the CIA, right? You are with, your lawyer fighting against the Macrons, works in the building with the feds, FBI, and Secret Service. Like, follow this logic elsewhere. It doesn't work. And you just sat there and said his family tested on him. Girl, you something else. Man, you something else.
Track. We're always on the right track, but they're always saying we're not on the right track, which makes us know that we need to continue onto these tracks, and more will be revealed. If you have any more information, particularly regarding Fort Huachuca, again, I will pursue that alibi in earnest. I'm going to send them a video so they know what I'm talking about. I don't know if it's just like the translation's getting lost over text message. Hopefully I'll have an update for you guys by Monday. But if you have more information about Fort Huachuca, more tips at CandaceOwens.com. Otherwise, we have an interview dropping tomorrow between me and Myron Gaines. People really loved that interview. It was actually he interviewed me, and we sort of spoke about feminism and my book, Make Him a Sandwich, and why I want.
I won't be doing that tomorrow. So I have some technological difficulties here in the studio. As you see, I'm on the side camera because my main camera is obstructed by some shenanigans going on over here. So I'm gonna skip that. I'm gonna skip that one tomorrow. It's just dumb. So something I want y'all to think about, and you don't have to have an answer right now. You don't have to have a solution. But I've noticed when Candace has 2 speaking styles that really stand out to me. By nature, I do talk really fast, right? So I'm a fast talker and I'm an expressive talker. My hands move a lot and such like that when I talk. So one of the things she does is she talks really fast. When she gets really fast and she starts really going into whatever it is, the topic that she wants to talk about, Greenland or missile silos or Nick Fuentes and blah, 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 she just talks really fast, right? But then she has another style where she measures every word. Sometimes she even measures the syllables in every word. And one of those has got to be the lie, or maybe both of them are the lie. I don't know. But I was just wondering which one of those is the lie. I think it's when she starts talking slow and pacing her words like this. I think that's when the lie is. Or it could be when she's talking fast. I don't know. But she does sound manic. She sounds absolutely insane. she does sound like she's got a little bit of courage there. Absolutely. I don't know which one it is. It could be both. It could be both. But I don't know if it's the fast talk when she really gets, jet fueled. Like it's like, or when she starts measuring each word. And she did them both in here. In this video, she did them both. She did a lot yesterday, the measured speech yesterday. And I just don't know. I'm just wondering, like, well, I don't disagree with you, Heather. And I do think that's it. But I do think that it's possible. I don't know which one it is. So I said I was going to ask y'all that. I'm going to read these super chats and I have something to kind of end the show with, and I have a closing considerations. All right, real quick. Thank y'all so much, man. Y'all are a blessing. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you on my Thankful Thursday, how much I really do appreciate not only y'all jumping into the Best Life chat, not only keeping the engagement high and all that kind of good stuff, But thank y'all so much for these supers. It really does mean a lot. It does help out a great deal. What do you have here, Stephanie? Stop. Now she's gifted and don't want to go to special school. Girl, please. She couldn't even pronounce Tucson correctly. Did she mispronounce Tucson today? Yo, man, somebody's gonna make an entire montage of all the times she misspeaks. Junebug, thank you for the 5. Her attacking Erica is duh. And those who didn't believe us owe us an apology. This is exactly what we all said was going to happen months ago. I want to know where Megyn Kelly is with this. Do you not? Again, she doesn't have to denounce her because Megyn gets all in her feels, all her grandma griper behavior. But I just want to know, like, okay, you hear what she's saying now. Was Ben lying? Ben wasn't lying. That's all I want her to apologize to Ben Shapiro for what she said, because she made it sound like he was just making it up. Shout out for sure. Thank you very much, Haley, with the 10. Just want to say thank you for cultivating a community as a stay-at-home mom. It is nice to feel like a part of something that doesn't center around anybody else aside from myself. Well, thank you. I appreciate you rocking with us. Thank you so much for being a part of the best live chat on the planet. I really appreciate it. Thank you, friend. And Tracy says this with the 2. I think when she is talking, she's whenever she talking, right? I like it. I set myself up for that one. I did. Let me end this real quick. So one of the things I asked y'all a moment ago, and I really do mean it, is that every last one of us is a sinner. Every last one of us is missing it. Every last one of us got some dirty laundry we don't want aired out on these social media streets. And really, at the end of the day, it's about embarrassment. It's about ruining people's reputations. It's about, again, being superior over somebody, judging them, right? And that's really all Candace is doing. That's all she's doing. And as I said before, what is the solution? Everybody knows that they're a sinner. If everybody's honest in the quietness of their hearts, they know that they're messed up. They know they got problems that they can't overcome. They know they can't stop. They are in the clutches of their sin. They know it. If they're honest, they know it. If they're not honest, they still know it. It's true. They're in the clutches, and there's no solution apart from Christ. I'm going to play this quick little clip I think you all will find beneficial. This will be I'm going to close out with this. So I want to say thank you all so much for rocking with me. This is a clip from a video I did earlier. I think it went up earlier today or yesterday. It's Dr. Vodi Bakum explaining the gospel. I really think it'll help you out a whole lot. So I just want to drop it in there on y'all. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Wow, thank you. Well, thank you so much for the 20. Thank you, Salen. With the $20, you're a blessing as well. Thank you. That means a lot. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Let me bring Dr. Bakum in. He passed away in 2025. He was a real blessing to me. And so whenever I get an opportunity, I like to, ask Dr. Bakum to share some wisdom with us, even though he's passed on and he's receiving his reward in glory. So this will be, thank you. Thank you. This is our palate cleanse. We're going to cleanse our palates as we walk out the door today. Everybody enjoy yourselves. Have a fantastic night. Lord willing, I'm going to get this computer situation fixed and resolved, and we'll be back tomorrow. I got a video dropping tomorrow, but I'll make sure one way or another. On Saturday, if everything goes right, I'm going to do a review of an interview that Tyler Boyer did on a particular podcast. He answered a ton of questions. So that's what I'm going to do on Saturday. But I'll make sure you all are well aware of that before time. So let me bring Vodi in. Vodi, thank you so much for stopping by again. Dr. Bakum, everybody, thank you so much.
What we do in the midst of this sin-sick age that has rejected the gospel and perverted the gospel and replaced the gospel with that which is not the gospel is that we call out that wickedness. We call it by name. And we remind people of the good news of the gospel again and again and again until it tastes sweet to them. When people say, no, our problem is this, our problem is that, we say, no, our problem is that God created the world. And God created man, and he put man in the garden to keep the garden, and he gave the man a command. And he held that man to perfect, perpetual obedience to that command. And he promised him life if he kept it and death if he didn't. And he didn't keep it. He ate. And because he ate, because of that one man, sin entered the world and death through sin. And everyone born from that man through ordinary generation inherited that man's sin nature. And because of that sin nature, sins proceed from it. And our world is broken because of that sin. And we stand guilty before a holy and righteous God. And we know that he's holy and we know that he's righteous and we crave justice. But the problem is that if God gives us justice, we all die. And so that God, in his goodness and in his mercy, sent forth his son, who was not born of ordinary generation, but was born of a virgin. Yes, the virgin birth matters. Why? Because if he's born of ordinary generation, he's born in sin. But because he's not born of ordinary generation, he's not born in sin. He's clean of sin. His record is clean. And he keeps his record clean. And he obeys God's law. And because he's fully God and fully man, he obeys the law of God on our behalf in his active obedience. And then in his passive obedience, God made him who knew no sin to be sin for us. All we like sheep had gone astray. Each of us had turned to his own way, but God laid upon him the iniquity of us all. And Christ died for sin once for all, the just for the unjust. And God imputes our sinfulness to him. And he nails our sinfulness to the tree. And Christ dies and raises again on the third day for our justification. And there's another imputation. The righteousness of Christ is actually imputed to us so that God can be both just and the justifier of the one who places faith in Jesus Christ, so that all those who come to Christ may enter in, so that all those who place faith in Christ might be saved, but not only saved, but sanctified, because he's the firstborn of many brethren. We're justified and we're adopted into the family of God, and we're sanctified. And as his children, we begin to bear the family resemblance, and we're further sanctified throughout this life by the very same gospel that saves us, until one day when it's all said and done, we're not just saved from the penalty of sin. We're not just saved from the power of sin, but one day we're glorified and saved from the very presence of sin. That's the gospel that we preach. That's the gospel that we need. And that's the gospel that's more than enough.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Witt Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment, because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.